Okay, so what I'm going to do with this camera, which is the HVX 200, I'm going to shoot a master of what I'm going through. Hey! And I'm going to shoot a master of what I'm going through. And I'm going to figure out how to use the cell phone, which is right here, and also log into YouTube Studio. It's been giving me some problem. There might be something I'm missing, so that's what this video is about. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, and I'm going to, you won't be able to see it that good, but maybe I can zoom in at a couple of points and grab you a quick screenshot, or I'll explain it in detail. Maybe I'll shoot a screenshot and add that into this later so that you'll be able to see the details of how I do it. I know I'm not the only one. The problem is when I log into live stream on my cell phone, I want to be able to pull up YouTube Studio on my desktop. And it says, everything I've looked at so far says I should be able to do that with no problem. But I am having a problem. It worked one time earlier this morning, and then I wanted to repeat it because when I do stuff like this and I'm having a problem, I like to repeat it so I make sure I know what I'm doing, so that if I'm doing it someplace else on a job or something like that, I won't have the same issue and then I have to go try to look it up. So this is going to be a little troubleshooting video about, and not little, it's probably be a while because I don't expect to figure it out right away. Hopefully I do, but it's going to be trying to figure out what I'm missing when I log in on my cell phone and I'm streaming from my cell phone, and then I join YouTube Studio. And like I said, it worked before. Earlier this morning, I did a quick little live shoot, and I'm about to go live here and start this over again. Not start everything I'm explaining to you right now, but start this process of trying to log in and trying to get this YouTube Studio working with my cell phone. So we'll see what happens. And again, I've done this before many times. I was in Georgia like 2 years ago, but I was on a 2-year contract, and I was the streaming guy, and it worked fine. You know, I was using, first started out using a Mevo, which I did not like. And then sometimes when the Mevo wouldn't work, we would go to the cell phone, to the supervisor's cell phone, and that would usually work pretty good. So it was either Mevo or the cell phone. And then later, about a year later, we bought all new Blackmagic streaming equipment, and it worked like a dream. I wish I could have that, but not. It wouldn't be worth the investment just to do these little live streams I'm doing for YouTube. But it was so easy. It was trouble-free because it was dedicated pieces of hardware that were set up to do one thing. Not that it never had any problems. And most of the time when it did have a problem, it was user error on my side. But once I got all the pieces together of the puzzle, everything worked smooth. It was consistent. I didn't have to worry about rushing up there, turning it on 3 hours ahead of time so I could troubleshoot. That's what we had to do with the Mevo and the cell phone because it was never consistent. So maybe that's the same problem I'm having now. Maybe I don't know that the cell phone and YouTube Studio is not always consistent. So I'm going to look that up and see if other people are having the same problem. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn this light out in here, and then I'll be right back and I'm going to go live. Okay, so I'm about to go live. And again, let me adjust this fan back here. It's kind of hot today. Okay, so I'm back now, and let's see if we can do this troubleshooting. So the first step, one thing I didn't have on this morning was I didn't have my Wi-Fi on. So since I'm here with Wi-Fi, maybe maybe kind of makes sense. We both should be on the same Wi-Fi, my laptop and my cell phone. So hopefully that was a problem. We'll see. I'm about to test it out right now. So I'm going to turn completely off the browser so that I know YouTube Studio is not connected. So, oh, see, got it under here. So I'm going to turn that off. So the browser's off. So here we go. I'm going to try to go live. Okay, so I'm logging into YouTube Studio, and I'm going to, well, that's another issue. We're going to solve that later. Supposedly, I'm supposed to be able to log in and go live through YouTube Studio, but every time I press the button to go live, I don't see the access to it. So I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to go back to my channel the way I did it earlier this morning. So now I'm on my channel, and I'm going to hit the button right here, and I won't forget this time to set the preferences. So I wanted the visibility to be, since I'm going live, I want the visibility to be public. Okay, it says visibility public. This is not made for kids. I'm not inviting anyone to go live with me. It has a description. Okay, it says something about advanced settings. I never looked at that. Allow chat, yes. Allow reactions, yes. So I'm going to, it looks like I'm about to able to go live. It's set on visibility for public. And I'm going to go to next. And it says, no, it's not made for kids. So I'm going to go live. And here's my countdown. So it appears to be working. Let's see, we're going live. Okay. So, hello. Obviously, no one's here right now on my live stream, but I'm going to be explaining to you what I'm doing. I'm doing a test to see why I'm having an issue with my, let's lower this down a little bit. It's a little too high for me. I should have set that before I got on my live stream, but that's okay. It's supposed to be, it's live, so you're going to see the real live ability. I ordered a new light. I apologize for the washed out light on the wall up here. I just ordered a new soft light because I hadn't been streaming here. And so I had no reason to have an appropriate light. But I will get one, and I won't have this halo above my head. Not that I don't deserve one, but I won't have a halo above my head. So what we're going to do is, the reason I'm doing this live stream today, it's a test. The problem I was having, I'll explain it again, is that when I started my live stream, I want to be able to log in to YouTube Studio so that I can answer your comments or any questions that may come up. And I want those. So I want to be able to respond and interact. So this morning, I tried it, and at first it didn't work. And then what I did was I refreshed the YouTube Studio a few times. I shut down the browser. I started to try another browser, and then all of a sudden I loaded it back up, and it worked. So I don't know if it's some kind of unstable bug, or is it me? You know, am I missing something? The thing I did different so far today on this stream right here, I have both the laptop and the cell phone going through my Wi-Fi. And I think maybe when I was streaming through the phones, my provider on the phone, and I was trying to go through Wi-Fi on here, maybe that's why they weren't connected. That seems like a good reason. So we'll see if that was the real reason. I'm kind of hesitant to do it, but that's why I'm running this stream to do this test. So I guess it's time for me to see if this is going to work. So what I'm going to do is pan you guys around here a little bit so you can see my laptop. And I'm going to go in here, and I have the browser off. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to start my browser. And hopefully I can go to YouTube Studio, which I'm doing now. And hopefully, let's see. So I go here, and I say go live. I want to click go live. YouTube Studio is opening. And it appears to work. Maybe that's what I was doing wrong. And you know what? I'm not going to stop it. Normally, what I would do is when I'm having troubles, I like to repeat the situation. Um, it says I'm live right now, and it's the type is a mobile stream, a vertical mobile stream. Um, Live viewers. Oh, I guess that one live view. Oh no, I'm getting some viewers. So okay, great, great. It says I have 3 viewers. Hello, everyone who just joined me. Throughout this stream, I'll explain what I'm doing. I've been having some trouble with streaming on my cell phone and being able to log into YouTube Studio on my. Okay, I'm getting messed up now because I'm looking at this. Log into YouTube Studio on my laptop. But I see something down here. It's not set for under the type of what I'm doing right now. Let me move up here and click this and see if it says stream. So it's streaming. It says it's connecting. It appears to be trying to connect. So I hope it does. Let's see. Now it's giving me the message again. Connect streaming software to go live. Viewers will be able to find your stream once you go live. So I am live, and I cannot find my stream inside YouTube Studio. So that's my big problem. And I'm going to try to figure that out. If anybody has any answers for me, I would. Oh, hello, thanks for joining me. If anybody has any answers for me, you can please type it in the comments down here on the live stream. But it worked one time, so it's kind of frustrating. So I'm going to go in here where it says edit, and I have a title, I have customization. Let's see what's under customization. Live chat replay, participant mode, anyone, live reaction, yes. I'm on slow mode, which is good, I guess. The stream, and let's look at the details of the stream. The stream is public. How do you want to go live? Choose a broadcast type. Okay, it says streaming software, but maybe that's what I did wrong. I'm not using streaming software. I'm using my phone. So maybe, let's try something again. I will shut it down, and I'll see if I can get to this page without turning off the stream. Let's try that. So I'm going to open up a new tab, shut that tab down, and let's try again, because this is what I did this morning. I was having the same problem, but then all of a sudden it just jumped in. All right. Hello. So I'm going to go to YouTube Studio. And let me see. Maybe, let's see. Let's put up the options I have. Create. Go live. Oh, maybe that's what I did. So let's go live. Let's see if we can go live from here. Okay, it says I'm going live. Let's take a look at this tab here and see what it has. Edit, get shareable link, delete. So I appear to be still going live. It says I'm connected. Let's go to the stream again. No, I'm not showing up. Send us your video from the streaming software. So I'm not using streaming software. Download your streaming software. And here's the, which I'm familiar with the stream keys and the stream URL, but I don't need that right now. I just need to figure out how to, so it's not picking up the stream status either. Okay, so I guess it's time for me to go on Google and see if they have any answers for me. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this, my stream, I'm going to put it over here on my other monitor, and I'm going to open up another tab, and on that tab, I will look for, I will go to, let's try Google. I'm unable to enter YouTube Studio with my cell phone streaming. What can I do? Let's see what it says. If you're unable to access YouTube Studio with your mobile phone while streaming, it's likely due to a few factors. First, ensure your phone has a stable connection and that YouTube app is up to date. Also try clearing the app's cache and data or reinstalling it. If this issue persists, You might need to verify your phone number for live streaming. Oh, so I don't know if I don't think I did verify my phone number. So let's try that. Let's see if there's a way to verify my phone number. Channel levels, no, that's talking about overlays, feedback. Let's see. Community moderation, participants, timestamp. I wouldn't mind having a timestamp. Moderation activity, reactions, pop out, chat. So chat has already popped out. Let's see. How could I? Okay, so let's see. Also try clearing the app's cache. Okay, so let's see. How do I do that? Let's try that first before I reinstall. So I'm looking for a way to clear the cache. So let's look at that. Let's see. I'll open another tab, and I'll say, let's see if the YouTube Studio. Oh, wait a minute. Does YouTube Studio have a desktop app? Let's try that first. Let me look for that. Let's close this down because I just think I'm going there through the browser. So let's see if YouTube Studio has a desktop app, which they probably do. It makes sense because I'm in the browser right now. So let's see. That's a good question. Does YouTube Studio have a desktop app? Yes. Either by installing it as a progressive web app within the web browser or by using the native app available on Windows. Oh, so let's see if I can get the YouTube Studio app. Okay. YouTube Studio has a desktop app. So let's see where I can find that. I need the YouTube Studio desktop app. How do I get the YouTube Studio desktop app? Where is it? Here's a bunch of people asking the same questions, but they're all videos. I just want to get it. Let's see. See where I can find it. So I'm going to look for the YouTube Studio desktop app. So it says go here to the web page, YouTube Studio. I'm going to go to YouTube Studio, and then what does it say? Let's see. So I'm on YouTube Studio. Open the menu. Click on the three dots in the top right corner. I see those. And then, so let's see. Open the menu. Click on open the menu. Okay, in the web browser. Open the menu. Click on the three dots usually found in the right corner of your browser. I see the three dots. Then what? Select Install as App. Let's see. I don't see that. So let's see. So I want to download. Let's see if I can type in here download. So I want to download the YouTube Studio. So now I'm searching for the YouTube Studio app. You can't directly download this YouTube Studio as a standalone app the way you might download an app in the App Store. Instead, access YouTube Studio through your browser. Okay, so I'm doing that. Let's see. So you can't do it, what I was just saying. So there is no app to download. Okay, so I see that now. So it says select install the app. Why is this giving out bad information? So let's see. This says that it can be installed, but it's it's saying two different things, different places. How to install a YouTube Studio as a desktop app. This came out 3 months ago. So it looks like I'm going to have to look at this video. So I'm going to take a look at this video on YouTube. Let me turn it around here so you can see it a little bit.
This is going to be a video tutorial on how to install YouTube Studio as a desktop app. I will be using a desktop PC for this. Let me jump over to my desktop here. I am on my desktop now. I have a pretty cluttered desktop. If you look right up this way, you can see I have an app called YouTube Studio. If I double click on that app, it opens up YouTube Studio as an app. You still have all the same functions that you would on any other type of app. Click on your icon, you can switch accounts, you can sign out, you can click on the create button, you can upload videos, you can add playlists, add podcasts, you can go live. On the left hand side, you have all your menu options right here. The way to do this, I'm going to close this out. I'm going to delete my app.
It's actually not an app. It's
I'm
probably a
going
link.
to show you how to install YouTube Studio as a desktop app.
But I'll listen to
You
it.
can do it either using the Chrome web browser or using the Edge web browser. I'm going to show you both. First thing I'm going to do is open up the Chrome web browser. Show you how to do it on Chrome first. You want to log into your YouTube account.
Oh.
I am logged into my YouTube account. Then you go over to your icon.
I'm going to pause this for a second because I wasn't logged directly into my. It didn't say YouTube Studio, so maybe I have to be in on my account. So let me do that. I'm going to go to my YouTube channel, and it shows that I'm playing live right now, which is good. So let's see what he's saying here. Okay, so I'm going to let it play and listen to the rest of what he's saying.
Click on your icon. Go down to where it says YouTube Studio. Click on YouTube Studio. You want to be on YouTube Studio and logged into your account. Next thing you want to do, you can go off to the upper right hand corner, up to where you see the 3-dot hamburger menu. You want to click on that. Then you want to go down to where it says Cast, Save, and Share.
Oh.
Then you go straight off to the left.
So let's see. I did see that earlier. So he said click here on the top, go down where it says cast, save, and share. So I'm there. Let's see what he's talking about over here now.
Straight down to where it says Install Page as App. Click on that. Now a little dialog box opens up asking you if you want to rename the app. And then you would click the Install button. Now to do it on the Edge web browser, it's a similar process. I'm going to open up the Edge web browser. I am logged into my YouTube account. I'm going to go up to my profile icon. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go down to where it says YouTube Studio.
Oh.
Click on YouTube Studio.
Well, thank you for that. I think that was what I'm looking for. I'm going to give you a thumbs up for the nice help.
Go up to the 3-dot hamburger menu. Click on that. Then you want to go down to where it says Apps. And you go straight off to the side. It says Install this site as an app. It shows the YouTube logo. Click on that. A little dialog box opens up asking you if you want to rename it. I'm just going to call mine YouTube Studio. Take the rest out. Then I'm going to click on Install. Now another little dialog box pops up here asking you where you want to pin the icon. Do you want to pin it to the taskbar? Do you want to pin it to the start menu? Do you want to create a desktop shortcut? I'm going to go with create desktop shortcut. I'm going to take the other two out. There is my icon. And you have all the same features that you would in any other app. That is how to install it.
Okay, so that was helpful. I gave him the thumbs up. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try it again. So still going live. I'm going to tilt down slightly. Here we go. Let's see. So now I have what I didn't have before. They call it an app. It said install the app. I thought he was in error, but he wasn't. He was correct. I was wrong. So there is once you download that from the browser, the Chrome browser, it creates a little app or kind of like a link to YouTube Studio, I would call it, but they said it's an app. So I'm going to open it, see if I can see myself this time. Double click it, and it opened directly to my YouTube Studio, which is good. Then what I want to do is what do I want to do? Oh, I want to go here where it says go live. Let's try that. Okay, so it shows me connected. It shows me streaming. Webcam, if I click webcam, it shows my built-in monitor, my built-in webcam came on my laptop. So I'm going to go to the stream and see if I can get into the stream. So it connects streaming software to go live. So it appears that I'm still having some kind of issue. Oh, okay. It has some settings here. Maybe one of the settings I have wrong. So I'm normal latency. Let's try low latency and refresh the page. Okay, so I'm still not able to see my live feed. Let's try ultra low. So no, it's not refreshing. And this time I'm on Wi-Fi. So let's look inside of here. I'm gonna poke around a bit. I don't see anything in there. Oh, this is a little section. Set up an overlay for your breaks. This overlay will need to be integrated to your third-party encoder to work. Overlays will appear when you aren't on screen. Okay, so that didn't solve my problem. Let's see what happens when I go to this chat. Moderation activity. Participants, community, timestamp, reactions. Moderation activity will be shown. So let's see. So it's still not picking that up. That's weird. And like I said before, it did it one time. And it's set to go public, which is good. At least that's working. Oh, manage webcam, manage calendar, pop out dashboard, control live settings. Okay. So that is weird. Let's see what we can do. Still trying to troubleshoot. So let's see if anybody else has a solution for me. I'm going to move this over, and then I'm going to open a new tab. I'm going to go back on Google, and let's see. Let's see if I ask this question. How to get my cell phone to connect to YouTube Studio while I'm live streaming. Oh, so here's Android app. Let's try that. Let's look and see what they have. You can live stream on your mobile device to connect with your audience in real time and build a community. That's what I'm trying to do. I hope you guys are joining my community. So let's see. On your phone or tablet, open the YouTube app. At the bottom, click Create, Go Live, which I did. I'm going live right now. Tap Edit to enter your live stream details. Visibility. Your default mobile live stream privacy settings is set to unlisted. So there's the one answer. It's always set to default of unlisted so that you won't go live by mistake. You can change that setting to make your live stream public, private, or unlisted. So let's see. Schedule it for later. Screencast. You can stream your phone screen. Set options to live chat. Enter your live stream details. Once ready, go live. To end the stream, tap finish, which is that little X up here in the left corner. When I did my very first live stream a couple of weeks ago, I wasn't able to figure out how to shut it off. I was outside doing it, so my screen was kind of washed out, and I couldn't see that X up there. So I had to just shut the app down. But it ultimately worked. So, what if you're that is weird. If you're, oh, okay. You have some restrictions when you first start streaming. I guess it makes sense. They don't want somebody who's a nut to get on here and start streaming to, large groups of people. But that didn't answer my question. Let's go back again. On YouTube Live, can I use my Android phone to stream? How to stream on YouTube on the phone? Now I've done this before, and I just don't understand why it's not working. So I'm going to open this up again. It says I can edit it. Let's make sure it's edited for live streaming. Details, streaming software. How do you want to go live? So I don't want to use software. Maybe that's the problem. There were some automatic settings. I turned those all off because they don't really make sense. So let's see if that helped. I want to know my stream location. Maybe I should put that in. So I gave them my stream location. Let's save that. Let's refresh it. No, still not working. It's really weird because it says I'm live right here. Restrictions none. Visibility public. I'm looking at my phone, and I have a few of you guys on there. Hey. Oh, okay. I saw something. Let's turn around here so you can see what I'm looking at. It looks like, so now I can see it. It says I'm connected, 33 views, 40 seconds. The chats have moved over. Okay, let's see what I did wrong. It seems to be working. So what I did was, I had to click on here. When I had to go down to my calendar, not go to the live stream or to the webcam. I had to go down here to calendar, and I see where it says live now. And then what I did was, I clicked right on here to go to that stream. And it actually took me to that stream. And it did it again. So that was repeatable. That was repeatable. Repeatable. So happy. It was repeatable. 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 So let's do one last test of that. I'm going to shut off because normally this is what I want to do. And then see, I'd be able to, it says learn more about the live chat. I'm not going to look at that now. I'm not going to be able to answer you guys right now. But that's the next stage. I'll do the live chat. 2 connected viewers. Thank you. So let's try it one more time. So I did it 2 times in a row. Yay me, yay me. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I don't know how I figured it out, but I'm gonna try to repeat it. I have that here. No, I'm gonna shut everything down again. So as I would start at the beginning, because this was my big problem today, well, this morning and last night. So I'll recap for you guys who weren't with me at the very beginning. So yesterday morning, I did my first vertical. Well, let's start at the beginning. Got plenty of time. Yesterday morning, I was about to start editing some content to post. And I went to YouTube. I went to instead of going to YouTube Studio, I went directly to my homepage, and I saw a video by a young man, and it said something about your 4,000 hours, which is something that's been on my mind. Because I know it's going to be hard to accomplish. But I watched this video, and I learned something that was really important. And I thought it could be scammy, but I did some more research. So YouTube, starting last year, February, I think it was the beginning of February or the middle of February, they announced that these vertical videos will count towards your total viewing time that you need to become monetized. So when I saw that, I was happy because I had been doing some live streams and I wanted to do more. And again, I mentioned earlier to some people who came on earlier that 2 years ago, I had a contract with a government client in Georgia, not the United States government, a local Georgia city government, county government. And I came in to set up, to take over their audio, video, visual content department and to set up streaming for their council meetings. And the first year, we did some stuff, shot some stuff, traditional shooting, and putting it on YouTube and helping revive the website and setting up all their social media and doing a bunch of videos around the company. But then the second year, or the end of the first year, we started to build the streaming system. So we upstairs in the courthouse, in the room where it's an old courthouse, but what they use it for now is the city council meetings. So we built a control room booth in the back, which was very nice. They brought in this very talented gentleman who was a carpenter, and he built a beautiful booth. And as it turned out, we put the contract for the equipment out to bid, and I was involved in that, and it was really great. Myself and the public information officer, we worked together on that, and I found all the content because I have the video background, all the equipment, and we got it together and put it out for bid, but none of the bids came back paying any attention to what we had done. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. So I told them, we can do this. And I'm confident that I can find the correct equipment to order and put together the streaming system with all the high-end 4K Sony cameras, the tripods, the wiring. I decided to go with Blackmagic because I was familiar with the Blackmagic cameras and had high praise on all of the Blackmagic streaming equipment. So I picked out stuff and everything and it was great. It was great, being in charge of that contract and putting in the money and telling them what to buy and everything being bought. No, we got to save up for this, we got to save up for that. The city manager told us, you have the money, buy it. I want that system set up. So I was given free reign to get everything. Most of the stuff came from Blackmagic. Got all the odds and ends that we needed. We had to hire the contractor to actually run the cable because I couldn't do that myself. It was a big historic courthouse. And then when you're dealing with historic properties, there are a lot of stuff you have to do. And we wanted to look professional. We wanted it hidden behind the walls. So all that worked out ultimately well, and the new booth worked out well. And so we got that all set up. So I'm saying all that to say that I had a lot of experience streaming. Because when I first started there, when I first started, we still did the streaming, and they had been doing it for like 3 or 4 years before I got there. But they were just using a cell phone, and they would just have one shot. And then they moved up to a Mevo. I don't know if any of you guys know what the Mevo is, but they moved up to a basic Mevo, which was one shot, and it did digital switching. So it would be one very wide shot, and then it would punch in and get it closer to this, punch in and get it closer to that, punch in and get it closer to that. So the quality came out looking like VHS quality, but it worked, and they got it. They used that. So we used that for most of the first year I was there, and then once we had the new setup that I just explained to you, we used obviously YouTube because we wanted it to be available for everyone, and they didn't want to go through the expense of trying to get some kind of white label server. I had mentioned that to them, but it wasn't necessary. It's better to be on YouTube because YouTube is the big guy for streaming, and everybody has it on their phone, and most of the people are old, so it's a big challenge for them to get to YouTube. And then us trying to get them to go to some private server, that wouldn't work. But anyway, I became very familiar with YouTube streaming, and so yesterday, I decided when I found out from the gentleman's video that this vertical video is being pushed by YouTube, and they're going to allow that to account to go to the 4,000 hours of streaming time that I need. And so I came up with the brilliant idea that I would do lives like this and just explain to you guys live, ramble if I needed to, show you what I'm doing on here. I even went live. My very first day was yesterday, so I went live and I worked. I had like a 3-hour live stream, a little bit over 3 hours. I think it was a little over 3 hours. And I did a bunch of stuff. I was editing a client's project. The only downside is you guys can't see the details really. But what I do is every now and then when I want to show you something, I just physically pan and move the camera to show you what I'm working on. So it's old school, non-high-tech way of doing it. But it's great because it's like you're sitting with me in the edit bay. And it's good for me because I normally nowadays I edit alone. I don't edit with clients anymore. I have clients send me their stuff, which works even better because sometimes it's a really pain. Any of you out there are editors. It can be a pain sitting with the client looking over your shoulder because what the client does that I don't like, sometimes if the client is sitting over your shoulder, they will want to, and it's not anything against the client. The client doesn't know. Oh, one of my friends just jumped on. Hey, John, how are you? Trying this vertical video. I'll shoot you a text later on this evening. But anyway, vertical video. I lost my train of thought that quick. Editing with the client. The client wants to speed it up, I guess. So once we're editing, we just start editing. We're doing a rough cut. And I explain this to them before we start. I tell them what we're going to do. Very first step, I always, when they insist on sitting in with me, I have a higher fee. And I'm wide open with that. I tell them that. And I explain to them why. Because when someone is sitting with me editing, I get slowed down, And then on my side, which I don't explain to them, the great thing about being an independent editor is that, right now I'm sitting here talking to you, and if I decide that, I need to take a break and go outside and stretch my legs, then I can do that. But if I have the client there and he's paying for 6 hours of edit time, he's not going to want to sit around while I go outside and stretch my legs. So I tell them up front that my remote fee, where I'm totally remote, is one price, and then my fee is a different price when I have someone sitting in with me. But so some understand and some don't. But that's just the way it is. And I've been doing this for so many years. I know the downside of editing with clients. But again, the reason they do it, the reason they become troublesome is because they don't want to sit. They want to sit there, but they don't want to sit there while you're organizing the footage. And I try to tell them no. I try to let me organize the footage on my own because there's no reason for you to be there. The organization of the footage is for me, so I know where everything is. And the screening of the footage, the rough screening. I don't literally sit there and watch. Like the last client, I had like maybe 40 hours of footage. I didn't sit there and watch the whole 40 hours, but I start scrolling through every frame though. I have to scroll through every reel to see where it goes. And hopefully it's labeled correctly and slated. And a lot of times it is because I really stress that. Any of you who are editors and you're just starting out, that's one thing you need to do. A lot of people nowadays don't want to take the time. They don't think slating is necessary because, that's Hollywood. We're not Hollywood, but that's not the point of being Hollywood. It's the point of if you're shooting a double system sound and you're shooting video, there's two separate files, and they're going to have to be merged together at some point. And even though now we can do it, through the software, which is simple, you still need to have some idea of where the footage is so that you can physically put it in the right folders and all that kind of stuff. And it makes the process go a lot faster. Especially if I get them on a upfront pricing, and that's one thing I do too sometimes. So I have all these caveats that I do when I talk to the client. I don't, as an editor, I give them a package price most of the time. And that package price is based on once I review the footage. So they have to have some kind of confidence already that they're going to want to hire me, because they're going to have to send me the footage, because I have to view the footage before I can do it. And as I got older, I started doing that more, because a lot of times when I was younger, I would say, I'd ask them what they had, and they would say, "Oh, we shot like 10 hours of this. We have 2 different cameras, and the sound is recorded into the video," which I like, because if they don't know, if they're new to this and this is coming one of their first projects, it's better for me if the sound is recorded into the camera, if the mic is going into the camera, as opposed to having double system sound, because then that's one less thing for me to worry about. And ask if you're slated. Excuse me. Let me grab a little swig of this. And I ask them if they slated the footage. And so if they've slated the footage, then that's going to make it much easier for me also. But if I get involved at the very beginning, before they even shoot, like a project I did earlier this year or late last year, a really detailed short film about a historical figure, and it was theatrical, but it was based on this real character. And luckily, I was able to speak with the guy. I knew him; I had worked with him in the past, and so he guaranteed me that he would slate everything. When I talked to his cameraman, we had a pre-production meeting, and he guaranteed me that he would slate all the shots, and he did. So it was great. I was able to find everything, put it together, and it wasn't a big hassle. But sometimes I get projects that they didn't slate anything, and they want to sit with me and figure out, well, this was the scene that goes with somewhere in the middle. Let me get the script and look through the script and see where this scene goes. And now what I'm about to say is, my wife hates when I say this, but I'm going to say it to you guys. I don't care how much they're paying me. They're not paying me enough to sit there while they fish through the script and try to find out where these scenes go. So that's something a lot of times I'll tell people, if they don't have any idea where it goes, I will. In the past, I've shown them how to organize their footage, and I tell them, because I can do it, but I'm going to have a really high fee to sit there and organize your footage after the fact. So I've turned some jobs down because I know that people just don't have the budget to pay me an extra fee to do what I guess you would call an assistant editor would do, because sometimes you do get that. On big projects, you'll get a director who doesn't want to slate, and they're big enough, and they don't want to slate. They don't want to waste the time to slate. That's the editor's job. And then the editor's being paid enough. The editor has a couple of assistants, and the assistants sit there and they watch each frame of the film and figure out where it goes. Okay, this goes in scene 10. Okay, this is scene 10A. Okay, this is a tail slate for scene 50, and they sit there and do that. I'm just too old to do that. And sometimes I have to turn jobs down. I had to turn a job down for a successful YouTuber this was about a year ago. And I really wanted to work with her. She was successful. She was doing children's programs, dramatic children's programs on YouTube, and she was getting a lot of hits. So she was the biggest bite that I had. I'm going to lean back a little bit. She was the biggest bite that I had so far for a known YouTuber. And so what happened was, the kids were, and I didn't know this until she told me, that the kids were relatives of hers. And that's why they were all the same ones acting in her videos. And so it wasn't like she brought in actor kids. So these kids didn't have any acting experience. So when I saw the video, they looked okay. They're just delivering their lines. And most of the time, kids can deliver their lines naturally, because a kid is a kid. And they're just being themselves. They're not trying to put on any airs or trying to do any kind of accents or anything like that. It's no technical, it's no big stretch. Like if you see a child's show, on Nickelodeon, that kind of acting. And so it was pretty good, and I was interested. And she was going to pay me a pretty good hourly salary. She was monetized on YouTube, so she was actually making money. She had sponsorship, she had some deals, and so it looked like a good opportunity for me, and it would have been my first YouTube sponsored client. So what happened was she sent me the footage, and as I started looking at it, it wasn't slated. So I told her, I was cutting her a break. I told her, okay, let me look at it, because I really wanted to work with her. I said, let me look at it and see how difficult it is, and I'll tell you up front if I think I can do it. I don't want to waste your time or my time. So when I got the footage, it was a bunch of footage, and number one, she didn't want to send the footage on a hard drive. She wanted to use a digital download, which a lot of people do. I'm against it because a lot of times it doesn't, unless it's something I don't know, there's not a way to do a batch download. And whenever I had tried in the past, I haven't tried in the past in years, but when I tried to do a batch download of digital footage, inevitably some scenes would get corrupt. And then I'd have to get them to be resent because they're being compressed when they go up, they're being compressed a bit when they go down. But basically they still look good, but it just was a hassle. And then sometimes I had to sit there and download clip by clip manually so that it wouldn't get jammed up. It wasn't like I could do a batch download, like if you're doing but in the old days, I don't even know if people use FTP anymore. But when you're using FTP, usually it was really consistent. And I would just FTP files up on a Google Drive or something. And it would go by itself overnight. And most of the time I never had any problem. But I got the footage, so I started looking at the footage, and I could not believe it. And it wasn't that I hadn't seen it before, because I used to work with a filmmaker who that was his style. His name was Don Jackson. He was an independent filmmaker out here in Los Angeles for years. And he even did some big movies. He even did second unit on some big movies. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing that up is because he would he would make up the films as he goes along. So he wouldn't have a printed script. He would have the film in his head, and so he would stand off camera, and if he was shooting or just directing, but he would stand off camera and he would whisper the line to the actor, and then the actor would take a beat and would say the line. So he'd make it up as if he was writing it, but he'd be whispering the lines. And that's what she was doing. And I could not believe it. The actors, sorry, the actors were family members, so she couldn't pressure them to learn the dialogue because they really weren't actors. They were, teenage kids, tweens, what's that they call it, tweens, where like 14, 15, 13, that kind of thing. So they would show up the day of the set, and she would give them the script, she would tell me, but they never would come off book. And she would have to stand off camera and whisper a line, and then the kid sometimes would wait, but most of the time the kid would, like, if I'm offline and I said, tell him you're hungry and you want to go out to Burger King. And the kid was supposed to wait and then say, I'm hungry, I need to go out to Burger King. So some of them would do it like that way. They would pause a little bit between it. But some of them, as soon as she said it, tell him you're hungry and you want to go out to Burger King. I'm hungry and I want to go out to Burger King. So I would have had to edit the whole 30-minute piece line by line, patching it together. And even now I'm thinking about it. I don't know how it would have worked, because ultimately, unless some of the kids did say blocks of text, so that would give you some time to do a cut to the other character. But when she was feeding them line for line, I really don't know. I've never tried that. So I really don't know how that would work. But I don't even think Don Jackson, I don't think he fed them line by line. He would tell them, you would say this line. It might be three sentences. So they would remember those three sentences. And they would say those three sentences. And then he would tell the other character what to say. The other character would have three sentences. So you could cut to the other character and you could use a reaction. Oh, that's what I would have done. I would have had to use reaction shots to cover any of their mistakes. Like if they couldn't remember all three lines, they would have had to say each line individually, then I would have had to go on a reaction shot of the other actor. But anyway, ultimately, I told her no, I couldn't do it. So, she was a little down because she liked my work, and I liked her ambition and her success and her drive, and but I just couldn't do it. So I turned that down. But that's just to say that sometimes you have to turn clients down. Nuisance clients it's not worth it sometimes. You may be hard up for the money, but you end up being mad. And many times that's happened to me. I would take a job, and it would just be a nightmare. Another quick story. I'm telling these stories because it might be helpful for some of you out there. But let me move up a little bit. I'm leaning back because I have a bad chair here. I need to get a new chair. My editing chair is worn out, and I'm too cheap to buy a new one, but ultimately I will. I see all these fancy chairs, relax the back, and all this kind of stuff. I need to go try some of them out in person. But anyway, what was I about to say? Oh, I had a recent client. My business has pivoted to doing a lot of online stuff. So I create online content for websites. I create, I build websites for clients who don't have websites. I have an ongoing client, which I need to check on in a few minutes. An ongoing client in Georgia that it's a small city in Georgia, and I'm their webmaster. So when I got the contract, they had an old website, one of the oldest websites I've ever seen, and they wanted to update it to something new. So they wanted to update to this new content management system. It's a website basically, but it's a content management system, fancy term, Civic Plus. And so I was familiar with it because the client I worked with in Georgia for 2 years, they had that. So I had learned a lot about Civic Plus. But anyway, I helped them convert their site to Civic Plus, and they're still my client right now. So I do a lot of website stuff. But I recently, even here, once I'm back in hometown, well, I'll say Pasadena, I started taking on clients, individual clients, who were just individual people who needed websites. And I took on a doozy. It was my fault because I found her on Craigslist. One of the first red flags, do not ignore red flags. If you're an independent businessman and you do internet stuff, you do YouTube stuff, do not ignore the red flags. No matter how bad you want the job, sometimes you can ignore them if they have deep pockets and they're paying you well. Then it depends on the fees. Is the headache worth it? Am I making enough on this job to make the headache I'm going to get worth it? Excuse me. But anyway, I'll give you a brief story on this one because I actually tell you the truth, as I'm thinking about it, I'm starting to get mad again. I'm starting to have those feelings roll up in my stomach that I don't want her. I'm dreading getting calls from her. I'm dreading getting texts from her. It was a woman, she was an artist, and she wanted me to replicate her old website that was lost. So what had happened was a company, she had a web host, and another web company bought that small company and absorbed it. And what they did was, they probably sent her some information, but as I got to know her, I know they probably sent her some information, and then ultimately she didn't follow through and didn't pay for the new service or the newer service, and then all her stuff got deleted. So her whole website was gone. Luckily, she still had the photos, the graphic photos and images that her website was built out of. She was an artist, graphic artist, and she wanted to display her stuff. And so when I started talking to her by email, I didn't get back to her. This was the first red flag. I didn't get back to her that same day after I exchanged a few emails with her. And then the next day, she sent an email and said, well, I guess you don't want to do this job, do you? Because she would have got back to me. And it's my fault. I should have just deleted the email and blocked her right there, but I didn't. I was offering a special, and she wanted that special. And so I was building a Wix. I was using Wix at that time, and I was building Wix websites for a very low price. And as soon as I saw that email, that nasty email, about, I guess you didn't answer my email because you really don't want this job, do you? Oh, okay. And so, again, I'm not so much mad at her. I'm mad at myself when I do things that, I'm not young anymore, I'm not 20. So when I do things that I know are mistakes, and I do it anyway because I want to pick up the client. So I got what I deserved, I guess. She was off the rails. Just all kinds of stuff. Boy, just picking and this and that. But what I did really to win her over was when we first, after that, I sent her an email, said, explained to her, I was on another job, blah, 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 blah. And I was, So what I did was, on that initial email, was I knew about the Wayback Machine. And I could she had given me the old website's name. So I went and got screenshots of her old website that I would use to replicate it with the content she had. And it was a very basic website, just photos and titles, and a whole bunch of pages with just photos and titles. And so when she saw that, she was overjoyed because I did that for free. I cataloged her whole website. It was probably like 50 or 60 pages. I just did screenshots of the pages and then showed it to her, and she was so happy because her website had completely gone and she didn't have any way to get it back because it had been deleted. And so she was happy about that. And then we had smooth sailing for the beginning. But then the crazy started coming back out again. And one day, which was really the tipping point, she called me up. She sent me a text and asked me if we could talk. And so I said yes, and she called me. And she was screaming at me. And I just lost it. I mean, I'm a really nice guy. But when I get pushed or I get treated badly, and it makes it worse when I treat people professional and I treat them the way they're supposed to be treated, clients, anybody. I treat anybody professional, calm, pleasant. And she called me up screaming at me. So we got into a screaming match because I told her, this is my business. There's nobody above me in this business. If I succeed, it's on me. If I fail, it's on me. And I told her, you're not going to scream at me. And if you can't calm down, then we won't talk anymore. And so then she instantly calmed down. And then I was giving her a bit of a lecture. And then she started to hype up again. Don't give me a lecture, blah, 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 blah. So ultimately, I said, let's stop talking now and talk tomorrow. So we did that. But then I decided to work with her over text because then I wouldn't have to deal with the nasty version of her voice and anger, over a phone call. And that didn't work out. So ultimately, we started working on, and this went on for a while. Too long, actually, too. Again, another problem, my side, I shouldn't have drug it out that long. It was supposed to be like a 2-week job and ended up being like 2 months. And then at the end of that, she had the nerve to tell me that, well, maybe I should get somebody else to finish this. After the website was done. The website was done. And I went back, as a matter of fact, I went back about a couple weeks ago to see if she had got somebody else to do it. And it's the exact website that I had built for her. And so I told her, I sent her a text. I said, you know what? Maybe you're right. Because she still owed me the final payment. And I said, don't worry about the final payment. You keep it. And she had said in an earlier email, maybe I should get somebody else and you return me the money. And I said in the email, I said, I know you're joking about me returning the money based on all the work I've done for you. And your website is basically completed. Because then she was saying that, then she had said, well, I want it changed. I want to change this. So I told her that let's stop here because we don't need to go any further down this road. You keep the rest of your money. You keep the website. Here's your username and password, and toodaloo. And so we finished it like that, which was good because I didn't want to have any more. And again, when you get those red flags that someone is a nutter, you have to look at it, and you have to decide: is this project worth me all the heartache and trouble I'm going to go through? Here's another little quick story that doesn't involve me, and I don't know the names of the executives or anything like that, but it was a true story. I heard it probably like 5 or 6 years ago. This executive, both men, businessmen, high level Wall Street businessmen. One was his assistant, but he was also a high level broker, but he was the assistant of the owner. And he was paying him over $1 million. The owner was paying the assistant over $1 million a year. And after this happened, what happened was the story broke. But there was nothing anybody could do about it. But just to show how clients can be terrible, he would not let the guy visit his wife during the week while she was in the hospital. And then even when she died, they were going to have her funeral during the week, and he wouldn't give him the day off to go to his wife's funeral. But he was paying him over $1 million a year, so the guy didn't go to his wife's funeral. But that's, if a client is paying you over $1 million a year, you have to balance. Okay, am I going to listen to him and do what he wants? This is my job. This is my career. I'm an old man. I'm not gonna. Who's gonna hire me? Both of them were in their 60s and 70s. So it wasn't like the owner wasn't gonna look for a job, but the guy who was his assistant has been his assistant for like 35 years. Where's he gonna go get another job? Making well over $1 million a year. But anyway, that's just a story to say. You have to decide. You have to decide where your line is. I had a friend of mine, filmmaker friend of mine, one time, and we were working on this project. And he said, even I, and it was so funny because we did all kinds of stuff. And he said, even I have my limitations. You have to know where your limitations are. You have to know where your limitations are. Are you willing to cross that line? But anyway, that was something else. Let me grab some more coffee, and then I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to get back again online to make sure what I did was not a fluke. So if I'm able to get back on, I think the next thing I'm going to do is maybe, if that wasn't a fluke, you know what? I'm not going to work on. I'm toying with the idea of going to figure out the chatting part down here. But if I can get into YouTube Studio consistently, then I'll watch a few videos one day and figure out how to live chat, which is something I don't know too much about. I see it, I see how it works, but then when I looked at YouTube Studio, it wasn't clear how I get in to make myself active. But I just need to play around a bit and watch a few YouTube videos. So I'm coming up on, right now I'm coming up on an hour on this chat, on this live stream with you guys. So what I'm going to do is maybe I'll put a video on for a moment and give myself a chance, give you something to look at while I. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's live dangerously. Let's try this YouTube Studio before I get my coffee. It says I'm going to go back there anyway. So I put that app, which I'm still reluctant to call it an app, I put that app on my YouTube Studio. I'll turn this a look at this one. I'm going to enter right now. Oh, it's going over here. Okay, so I pulled up YouTube Studio, and then what did they say? So I pulled up YouTube Studio, and then I'm going to go here where it says go live. Click go live. Now it's loading up. Okay, so I see my live stream here. Oh, and I see a schedule thing here. That was a mistake. So I see my live stream here, and I'm going to click on it. And it says waiting for mobile stream to begin. So it appears to work. Yay! Clap, 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 clap for James. Clap, 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 clap. Did it. So I'm able to consistently go in. And then down here I can see what you guys wrote. And it says, welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by the community guidelines. So it says learn more. So there must be some videos there that I can watch. So I will do that later. But I've had 39 views so far. That's good. For my second day of live chatting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my home page here. I'm going to get out of this. I want to go back to where I was. Oh, just hit the back button, I guess. Or refresh. Okay, great. All right. So you can see here, I'm pushing forward. I'm at 460 subscribers. And I thank each and every one of you very much. I really want to make this work. And the only way I'm going to make this work is you guys subscribe and start watching my content. And you've really been doing that. I want to turn this around here. I thank you so much. And I do appreciate it. Everyone out there who joined my channel and has been coming back looking at my content. And even all the new people out there. I really thank you. This is a big deal for me because, like I said, my business has pivoted. And I haven't explained it again. I'll explain it again real quick. My goal is to get monetized here on YouTube and start creating more entertainment content. I'm not primarily a teacher anymore, but I love to give tips and talk about acting, directing, and editing. So that's really the main content I'll have on my channel. But as far as the directing and editing, I want to create humorous skits. I want to even start creating some vertical video series for YouTube. Very low budget stuff, stuff that I don't need to raise money to do. Find actors, pay them, and have them be in this content. And I want to create that for YouTube, some vertical, but most horizontal. Short subjects, comedy, humorous. As you notice, if you look around my page, there's a lot of editing content, and most of it is humorous. I work with a great partner of mine who's he lives in New Jersey, and he has an acting school. And so I'm his editor. And over the years, I've been working for him for almost 10 years now, and his business is successful. And he has some very talented actors come through his program, and actors who are just starting out, who he helps and he trains, and they do videos, which is a great thing. I wish I had had something like that when I was starting out. They do completed, polished videos, and they shoot those. Some are humorous, some are dramas, and I edit them together. So like I said, I've been doing that for almost 10 years. So what I'm doing is, he allowed me, I asked him if I could use some of that content of his students to help build up my YouTube channel, to showcase his students, and also to showcase my editing, and then also to provide humorous content. Because obviously humor does the best thing here on YouTube. And that's what I want to do. As an actor, I'm primarily a dramatic actor, dealing with the heavy stuff. I'm usually a character of authority, a doctor, lawyer, detective, police officer, prison guard. I'm a character actor, and I've been doing that for 35 years. And those are the characters I'm played to. I play a lot, and those are the stories personally on my side. When I sit down on the couch and I turn on Netflix or HBO, those are the stories I'm drawn to. The Sopranos, the dark drama stuff with comedy. But here on YouTube, what I want to do is I want to do more comedy. I mean, I do have a sense of humor. It's hard for me to write stuff, but I want to team up with writers. I want to team up with young writers. I want to team up with actors of all ages, and I want to do some of these scripts. But I want to get monetized because I want to be able to pay them something, even if it's a little bit. I want to pay them to come in and do their work, do their acting, do their writing, and I'll be able to offer some money. The more I make, the more I'll be able to offer. And also, I have started this already with one of my cousins who's a stand-up comedian. We started creating I created him a channel, and I sent him some equipment. And he's doing comedy shorts, like stand-up. And we're putting those up here on his own channel, on his own playlist. I created a playlist. And if we start getting enough views, the idea is to create a satellite channel for him. So I'm going to be doing that with a lot of comedians. If any of you out there are comedians, if you know any comedians, have them contact me. You can always, anywhere on my channel, in the description, you can find my email address. Shoot me an email. I'm actively looking for comedians. I can even do it remotely because I'm doing it remotely with my cousin, so I can figure out ways to do stuff remotely. I prefer people in California, obviously, because that's where I am, but I can work with people anywhere. And I'm using my cousin to help him, to help me, and then also to make a model of how I can work with comedians for this. Because again, like I said, comedy is king here on YouTube, and I want to take a little dive into that area. I've always wanted to do stand-up, and I never had the nerve, and I don't have enough jokes to stand up in front of a crowd and talk. As you can see, I can stand up here and talk probably for 3 hours with you guys, taking some in between sips of my coffee, but I'm not really a comedian. I can tell stories. I can tell, I was recently had a couple of jobs where I was a trainer for security officers So my specialty was customer service. So that's what I can really talk about because I know about it, I've lived it, I know the importance of it, and so that was my specialty as a training manager. But still no comedy. I would slip a few comic bits in there, but they're all based on real stories from my life, and that's what I feel my strong point is. But I'm not a comedian. But I want to do comedy here, and even though I'm going to be in some of the skits, I'm mostly going to be playing the straight guy. You'll find some of my material there. You'll also find my link to my IMDb page too if you want to see some of the work I've done as far as a union actor. And but yeah, I'm really enjoying this chance. I'm giving myself again at YouTube. Like I said, I was in two what I call straight jobs, and I decided to take a chance on myself one last time. It's like not like I'm going to be here forever. And when you start to realize that, you start to realize what's important. You got to pay your bills. You got to take care of your family. But at the end of the day, I never became rich. So at the end of the day, no matter what happens, we're all going out feet first. So I want to spend the rest of my time doing something that I really like, using these skills that I have as far as directing, acting, and editing, and also teach along the way. So I'm going to continue to do my videos where I teach, and I'm starting to finally hone in on where my niche is going to be. I'm teaching towards new people who are getting into acting, who are getting into directing, and also who are getting into editing. So that's what I'm going to focus on. Obviously, I'm not trying to do classes for editors who are way beyond my level, cutting with the fanciest and most expensive 3D equipment and AI equipment. I'm talking to the basic young person or old person or middle-aged person who's always wanted to make a movie, who's always wanted to be involved in the entertainment business somehow, who maybe has had that desire to be an actor or an actress and never really moved towards it. I have tons and tons and tons, I keep losing my eye line, but I have tons and tons of great information that I wanted to give away. And so that's going to always be on my channel, just like what I'm doing now. I know there's some tidbits. This is a very long training while you're sitting with me and I'm trying to figure out my live streaming problem, but I think we solved it. I'm going to do a little quick check right now before I take my little break, and then I'll put you on some placeholder video until I come back. I'm only going to be gone shortly, about 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes maybe at the most. So what I'm going to do is go to content. Let's see if something of what I shot yesterday will play. I had some live stuff shot, and let's see if it'll play. This was my very first one. Oh yeah, listen. Okay, good. See if we can turn this up a bit. Just so happened I have the same shirt on. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step away and I'll be back live in about 10 minutes. Okay. So I am back live again. Thank you. I'm going to turn this off right here. I'm going to do one last test. I'm going to turn this off. Let's turn that off. Okay. So what I want to do, one last test, because I need to take a little break because I forgot I had to go out on a little assignment with my wife. She's on the event today, and I promised I would go pick the equipment up and then take that equipment back to the warehouse. So I better rush myself a little bit. This was a nice long, almost coming up to 1.5 hours, 1:23 or something like that. So that's cool. And I figured out the problem. So let's do one last test to make sure. I'm going to shut this down just to make sure so I can relax and get myself together before my event. I decided not to go on to any other projects right now. So I might do something else later this evening. And if I do, I'll come back live again, because I'm going to try to go live when I'm working here and I'm doing content that's related, and I'm creating behind the scenes content that's related to what I talk about on my channel. So it's a great way to get information out to you guys. And once I have everything working and once we get used to having these live streams, you can send me questions in advance. I can answer them. I would love to do that, like they used to do on Letterman, viewer mail. So send me some questions. I'll answer those questions, and or I will try to figure out how to work this live chat down here. See, I didn't even know that when I scroll down, I can see the end of it. And if I want to talk to someone, what do? Click on them, and then it says one of my friends says it looks great. So I see that. I'll figure this out. But what I'm going to do now is do one last test. I'll let you see it here if I can pull it up. Let's do one last test of starting YouTube Studio with the camera running, and it's marked for live streaming. That's what I did. So I had the camera all set up correctly. I knew how to do that. Only thing that was giving me a problem was this. So when I go here, I open YouTube Studio, and where it says go live, I'm already going live on my camera. So how come you don't see it? Oh, I didn't pan over enough. Here we go. So I'm panned over to my desktop. And then I see here where it says unedited, James Tucker. It says it's public, and it says we are connected. Got a nice little green light saying you are connected, and a red light over here saying you're live. So if I want to see the content and access this over here, it's going. And again, applause, 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 applause for me. Applause, applause. I'm so happy because I was having such a hard time all day yesterday trying to figure out how to do this, and I had done it before. So once I'm in YouTube Studio, say for instance I want to respond to my friend here, I click it. He said it looks great. Now if I wanted to, it says pin, go to channel activity, hide user on this channel. I don't know how to respond, but I'll figure that out. Oh, it says message right here. So if I wanted to delete go a message, or here, I click it, and then what do I do? I don't know, but I'll figure it. Oh, chat right here. So I can just say thanks. Whoops. And then let's see. Oh, and then it says send just a little chat bar. Oh. And then it shows it's from me and it said thanks. Okay, great. So I did figure that out. So everything seems to be working great. And I'm going to log off. But thanks again. Whoops. Thanks again for watching. And I also did a full frame of this for replay. I'm going to post that on my channel also. So I did a full frame of this problem-solving session so I could figure out how to live stream from my cell phone and then open up YouTube Studio and answer the comments, monitor who's watching, see how many viewers I have, or do the moderation. So it looks good. And I'm going to just learn more about that. And I'm very happy to end this streaming right now. And I will see you on the next one.